we are recording. I have no idea where this is going to record to, though. It's meant to ask me, like, it's meant to ask me, do you want it on cloud or do you want it on your machine? But since this is a free account, I don't know. Okay, anyway. The first thing I gotta say is that I do cook. I absolutely do cook. Okay. However, I use my like Instant Pot. I use my rice maker. I use my slow cooker. I use the stove range. I make a lot of soups and stews and stuff. But my oven is an alien to me completely. So here's me with my first try, like kind of ever really making biscuits. Okay. In my adult life, I don't remember having ever purchased flour from my home. I don't fry stuff. I don't bread stuff. And I'm sure I don't bake. Okay, so for the first thing you got to do, and I just want to make sure, Courtney and Sophia, are you there?
Yes, we're here, and Louie's watching you too.
Louie the cat, I'm thrilled that you're here. Step in any thing that I make. I'm going to make a cocktail, okay, real quick. I'm going to make a Brooklyn cocktail, and this is something. Something you can get in any good Brooklyn bar. So I would usually want fresh lime here, like a squeeze and lime, like a thing. But I'm gonna, it's quarantine time, so I'm gonna use lazy lime.
It's quarantini time.
I also have real lime, but I'm not gonna cut up a whole lime for one whole thing. Okay, so I'm gonna put just a dab of lime into a shot glass. Okay, have a shot glass. I'm gonna close that. Then I'm going to take some of the finest vodka known to man, right?
Tito's.
I will fill up this shot glass with the Tito's vodka, right? Here we go. Put that away. It's got its special place on my, cooking honor, because that's a really important thing to have. The next thing I'm going to do, and I usually prefer draft beer if I'm at a bar. Here I'm going to use a can. I'm just using kind of just regular lager. A Pilsner is fine. Something that's easy to drink. Here we go. Put it into the cup. I almost never drink out of a can. Almost never. I vastly prefer drinking out of a cup for this. I'm going to put this in my recycling pile. Okay. Now, and this is a Brooklyn cocktail. A proper Brooklyn bar will have its version of a very, very, very cheap beer and a shot. And that's it. Now, I've made it elevated by using Tito's and not well vodka, but a beer and a shot is what we drink in Brooklyn.
Cheers.
Cheers. And there you go. There's your Brooklyn cocktail. So I was going to go full barefoot Contessa on you and make that very special Cosmo that she put online that went viral a few days ago. But, I'm not that big of an alcoholic. So here we go. I've got all the ingredients set up. I've preheated my oven, which I'm told is remarkably important in this process. To get it nice and hot first. And I read the instructions, and it also said you kind of got to do all of the ingredients kind of fast, because you don't want it to sit. You know, like let everything to sit. You just want to like mix it up, throw it on there. I will not be rolling out. Yes, my Louie is zooming. That's my favorite photo that's ever been taken. Thank you. I'm gonna now mute my phone. Here we go. Not Siri. Okay. Thank you for that interruption. Now I'm gonna make biscuits. I'm gonna make drop biscuits. I'm not rolling it out. I don't have a rolling pin because I recycled my wine bottle, my empty wine bottle. So that's gone. I don't have one. So that's why I can't make like a proper thing because I don't have a way to roll it out. The wine bottle, had to be recycled. So I'm just gonna do it, right? I've got all the things kind of ready here. It says prepare a large baking sheet with non-stick cooking spray or parchment and set aside. What is this baking sheet? I've got this this thing that I found in the oven. That
Looks like you found it on the street. Summer, is that a paint can thing or a paint?
No, it's a no, it's a well-loved baking pan situation.
Okay.
And the person who owns this apartment probably owns this. And I found it in the oven. It was in the oven. So I'm gonna put foil on it. I don't have parchment paper because why would I ever have that? I never, didn't think about parchment paper. And I've got coconut oil Pam that I'm gonna spray on it. Ew. Okay. It's like coconut. No, don't do that. Don't taste the coconut oil Pam. That's not nice. That's not nice at all. Okay. Okay, we've done that. Courtney, what would you have used in this situation?
For what?
For like your baking.
For nonstick?
Well, for your baking apparatus.
Like a cook. I don't know. I think yours is fine.
Yeah. It also said that you can get like one of those plastic baking things, the foldy kind of, you can make cookies on or whatever. But then,
yeah.
But I mean, why would I have that? So I've prepared my my baking sheet. And it says in a large bowl, whisk to get whisk. I didn't read that part. I don't know that I have a whisk.
You can use a fork.
The thing is, everything I have here belongs to someone else. So I'm constantly surprised by what's actually on hand. Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Here's my whisk. That's great.
That's a perfect whisk.
I have a whisk.
You gotta whisk it to get the biscuit. Boom!
Boom! Okay, so we're gonna.
You gotta whisk it to get the biscuit. Okay, I'm using that I'm using that.
This fell off. I'm gonna pretend like I'm gonna pretend like that didn't happen. Okay, so I've got a whisk. I have a whisk. In a large bowl, whisk together flour, baking powder, sugar. Why sugar? Okay, salt and garlic powder. It says garlic's pretty sweet in and of itself. Okay, so I'm gonna do the unthinkable and open flour because I've just never had need for flour before. Since when I was a kid and like doing nasty things to my teacher's cars, you put flour on a car and they try to wash it off and it's glue. It's a terrible thing. Don't ever do it. So I've got my flour and it calls for 2 cups of flour. And here we go. I got a cup here. It's too big for the opening. Okay. Courtney, do I need to like pat this down, do you think?
Flour? No, you don't ever pat flour down. You usually use a spoon and spoon it into the measuring cup and then use a knife to scrape the top off. You don't want to pack flour. Yeah, spoon it in like that to heaping spoonfuls, and then you use a knife to, don't pat it down. Use a knife to scrape the top off.
I'm gonna use the spoon. I wish that the opening of the flour thing was bigger.
Well, even so, you still spoon it in.
Okay, so I'm using the edge of the spoon.
That's fine.
Knife, and I'm making a giant mess all over my counter with flour.
There you go.
Here's one thing of flour. Okay. This is a heaping spoon. This is a good spoon. Wow. Flour. Wow, this is actually quite a lot of flour. I did get 2 things of flour. I think the other thing is bigger. Because I hope to make tortillas. Because I saw like a recipe for tortillas using like flour and like baking powder. That doesn't work. Don't pat it down. Fine, that's fine. Okay.
See, look.
Did you go back to him to sell it? And he said no? Yeah, mine did do something.
But I have it right here. I thought I can read it in this place.
Let's see. Now it calls for baking powder. Now I found this baking powder in a cabinet, which is cool. Now the person who owns this hasn't lived here in years, and it is open, so hopefully baking powder just lasts a long time. So here we go. And the baking powder is 1 tablespoon. I know what that is. Tablespoon.
Are you sure it's tablespoon?
I wrote down tablespoon. 1 tablespoon baking powder. Now there's no baking soda in this.
Right.
Baking powder is what makes it rise. Am I correct? Ooh, that's I don't like that consistency. Baking ooh.
That should be just powder.
I mean, it's just powder, but it's got a weird consistency. It's hard to get the spoon inside the thing. It's small. I don't know. It feels like artificial or something. What's baking powder made out of?
Yeah, it's a lot thinner than flour. It's not going to look like flour. It's like a silkier powder. Is that right?
Yeah. It's got this weird silky. What is this? Calcium acid?
Yeah, that's okay.
Cornstarch. Oh.
Wait, is that baking powder or cornstarch?
This says reduced sodium aluminum-free baking powder.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so apparently baking powder, it has cornstarch in it. That's the
okay.
I didn't like. Okay. I'm gonna do like this. Okay. Okay.
Oh wow.
So I've got baking powder. In a large bowl with other flour, baking powder, sugar. Now the sugar is 1 teaspoon of sugar. Now I was talking before, I don't keep sugar like in my house. Like I just don't have use for it. I take my coffee black, like my soul. But I keep little packets of it in case like guests are here and want coffee and the sugar in it. But so now I've got this is meant for coffee though. It's quick dissolve, super fine crystal. Anyway, okay. So 1 teaspoon of sugar. Where's my things? To me, that seems like a lot of sugar.
A teaspoon?
Listen, I don't use sugar for anything. In fact, I don't use salt for anything either. I'm one of those people who cooks with very little salt. This sugar's
cooks with what?
Say that again. Cooks with what? I don't use.
I don't know. It's cutting out.
Oh, okay. I don't use a lot of salt and sugar. That's all. Ever since I started taking blood pressure medicine, I just stopped using salt. Didn't stop, but I just put a little bit on, just to kind of enhance the flavor, just to the point that when I go to a restaurant now, everything's always too salty for me.
Man.
So, especially if I go to a restaurant in Texas, y'all are crazy. This salt, sugar, salt.
Nathan adds a bunch of salt.
I know Nathan he needs to check his blood pressure.
Yeah.
Now, it says half a teaspoon of salt, but it's going to be really difficult for me to measure, like crunch, crunch, crunch this. So I'm just going to see about it in my hand. This is sea salt. Like Justin Wilson. Right here is a half teaspoon. Well, it just flew everywhere anyway, whatever. Okay, so that's probably less the salt than it asked for. Okay, but I used sea salt. It didn't call for sea salt. This is the only salt I have. Okay. Now, garlic powder was a pleasant surprise. Now, this calls for half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay. For a long time, anytime garlic powder was needed in our home, growing up, our mother, whose new name is Gigi, always used garlic salt. You know, garlic salt on the garlic bread and stuff like that. I don't think she does anymore, but this is garlic powder, not garlic salt. In a large bowl, whisk together flour, baking powder, sugar, salt, and garlic. Okay, I'm gonna whisk it. Why does it need a whisk and not just a spoon?
Because it mixes the flour differently.
Well, I mean, is it mixed or it's not mixed? I don't know. So I got my bowl. Mind you, I didn't buy any of this cooking equipment, right? Like, yeah, or any of my furniture. I have this giant, really comfortable king-size bed. It's not much.
What's moving?
Okay, now it says stir in the butter and milk. Now the butter, it calls for 1 stick of butter melted. So I do use butter. I like butter. I usually use unsalted butter, but I always keep it in. Anytime I open a stick, anytime I open a stick of butter, I put it in this like margarine bucket thing. Oh, it says butter with canola oil, just because I find this to be the perfect size. I just keep this thing like I cut the
Hey,
stick into 3 things and put it in here. So this is my butter dish, and I melted the butter. Okay, here we go. Stick of butter. Ew! I'm dripping it on my floor. Okay. Now, so that needs another stick of butter. And milk. Here's my biggest problem with this recipe. I never purchase milk. Not that I have a problem with it or anything like that. It's just that it goes bad really quickly and I don't use it that often. Sometimes I'll use it in my coffee. I mean, what I purchase is an almond milk, unsweetened almond milk. So I'm using almond milk. But almond milk, even if it's unsweetened, is still a bit sweet. But I guess so is milk. So is whole milk. So this is the thing I think that's either gonna like make it really terrible. It's gonna make it terrible or not. So I've got 3/4 cup of almond milk instead of whole milk. If I had anticipated making biscuits, I probably would have purchased some milk. Whatever. Okay, stir the butter and milk into the flour solution until moistened, okay? And I'm gonna use this to stir. It's a wooden spoon. Okay, the only thing that makes me excited about this is the butter. Well, and the end product, clearly. So, Courtney, do you make biscuits ever?
No.
No?
I could though.
You just like normally have these kind of ingredients on hand, right?
Yes. Yes.
I also purchased, because I did a giant grocery shop, because here's the deal. I I go to the, well, not right now. We're in a pandemic. But before all this happened, I would, do one kind of big shop every month just for staples. Get a, bag of onions. I don't know, thing of almond milk. I don't know, just for some staples. But I like fresh food, so like I'd be like, hey, I feel like eating a tuna steak tonight. So on my lunch break, because I work from home, I just walk to the grocery store and buy a tuna steak and just make the tuna steak at night. And I would find, I'm like, ooh, I want to make a salad. I've got all the things for the salad, but I don't have a tomato. I don't have any tomatoes. So I'd go to the store and buy a single tomato.
Yeah.
I don't know how, do you think it's supposed to be like this? It's all,
It's supposed to be doughy, yeah, probably. Because you're gonna drop. It's not supposed to be loose batter. It's not supposed to be runny.
It's not. Maybe I thought it was going to be like cake batter.
Well, just think about it as you would roll it out. You wouldn't roll out cake batter.
Well, that's true. I wouldn't. I mean, that's my way. Ew. No. I did bake a cake the other day. Clearly, I didn't use flour. I used a box of Duncan Hines cake mix.
Yep.
Cake mix.
Why not?
But I did not purchase frosting, and I didn't have confectioner's sugar.
Oh man.
Why would I ever have that? I haven't baked a cake in since maybe living with you a long time ago or something,
Yeah.
But now I have both confectioner sugar and so I've got all these staples now that I just never had before. Okay. What I would kind of expect, but I know is not correct, is to keep this, put some plastic over it, because I've seen the Great British Bake Off.
Yeah.
Plastic over it, let it sit for a while. But no, you don't need a proving drawer for any of this. It says drop the batter by heaping tablespoons onto prepared baking sheet. Bake for 9 to 11 minutes. Now, I don't know how many this is supposed to make, though. It doesn't say. I don't know how much is this going to rise? What makes it rise? The baking powder makes it rise, right?
Yeah.
Hey Mom, can you try to get this big one for me?
I can't get back on my boat.
Okay. Here's about half of it. I don't think they're going to rise that much because there's no yeast, obviously, clearly.
Well, it's self-rising flour and baking powder.
Oh. Yes, I just smelled my sponge. It is a clean sponge, but I just did that out of habit, I suppose. Everything in my house smells like Clorox, if I'm going to be honest. And the super in my apartment makes, everything in the hallway smells like Clorox. Listen, New York City is not screwing around. I'll tell you that right
You
now.
might have to go back to your house or something. Start all over.
Okay.
I mean, not start all over.
I don't know what this supposed to look like. They got 15 biscuits. Picture. Half would be 7.
You got that one. Where is that one at?
It was, right. And I forgot.
So what did it say to do with the half that you separated?
I didn't need to separate it. I just did. It said use tablespoons of dough, and I'm like, that's gonna be weird to measure.
A nerve.
So I just put, I'm eyeballing it. So this needs to make 7 right here. So I'll put 7 on here. I've got flour all. Who wears a black sweater when baking? What I want to know. It is kind of cold outside. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Cold like in the 40s. I had my window open because I gotta get some fresh air, you know. So it got really cold in my house, my apartment. Okay, these are all gonna be different sizes.
Yeah, that's fine. Try to get them kind of even so they bake evenly.
Oh, stop talking sense to me. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow, I got a catfish in this like in my workshop like 2 times.
I don't even know where you got that big one.
Okay, this is an orphan. Over there.
They're not. What do you mean they're not working?
I said it's an orphan.
Oh, it's orphan.
So I've got. This is what I got. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 biscuits. Now, I guess I could have, what I could have done is use a scale, and believe it or not, I do have a scale, because I was trying to, not Weight Watchers, but another thing, and where you like measure everything, but I forgot. So now, I'm gonna stick this in the oven. It's hot. And it says 9 to 11 minutes. So this is what I'm gonna do. Hey Siri, set a timer for 10 minutes. Set for 10 minutes. Okay. Now, in 10 minutes, we'll know
If you did it right.
if this was a worthwhile thing to do at all on a Saturday afternoon.
Well, it didn't take that long.
That actually didn't take that long at all. And if this works and makes delightful biscuits, even like halfway delightful biscuits,
Yeah.
that was way too easy to not do again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am unlikely to ever roll anything out and cut holes. And I don't have cookie cutters, and I don't have, all my cups have like wide, I mean, I could make wide biscuits, I suppose, but this looks, we'll see. I'll let you know in
I'm
10 minutes.
interested to see how they turn out.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's been something like, it's in 9 to 12 minutes, but it's been more like 17, and I'm worried about overcooking them, but they're not. So if I'm looking at them, they don't have, they don't have brown on the bottom, what you really want. Maybe they need more. I kind of think, my oven just doesn't get as hot as it says it gets, but what we're gonna do. Now for the real test. Let's see. Take a piece of the biscuit. Oh wow, the smell of butter just walked. Oh, I should show you. So this is what the biscuits look like, and they're all gonna slide down to the bottom. So now I've got a big thing of biscuits. I'm surprised I didn't need egg. I don't bake, so for some reason I thought egg would be a thing. So I'm gonna take a piece.
Nope.
And I'm gonna put some of this butter on it. Not that it needs any more, because the smell of butter is just bam in your face. Wow. That garlic powder packs a punch. Hot, hot.
So it's good.
These are great. These are great. But they're like not in a shape you can really use. Like I can't like really saw that in half and make a sandwich out of it.
Sure you could.
Well, this was way too easy for me not to do again. I didn't make that big of a mess other than getting white stuff on my black sweater. And now, for the first time in my life, I've made biscuits.
Awesome.
For one of the first times since I've been living here for 2 years, I've used the oven. Also, if you're wondering what all this is about here, a movie star wrote that. I had nothing to do with being thankful for my body or my hands or my heart or LA. There we go. And that was me making biscuits in quarantine.